In the April 2022 development update stream by Visionary Realms, developers of the upcoming MMORPG Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, we learned about the Daedrym Ascent. This is a new and never before seen area, so let's dig into what we saw and what we heard a little deeper. Now, the first time we ever heard about the Daedrym Ascent was actually in the February 2022 newsletter, when VR noted their zone development involved ongoing work in Wild's End was currently focused on core asset development and construction of the Daedrym Ascent. So fast forward 2 months, and now we can see the construction of this place is well underway, and there's plenty of details, both visual and in the written lore, that give us some insight into the area. Let's start with the most compelling aspect. The Daedrym Ascent is a place where the Draconian aesthetic holds sway. Dragons are well represented here, and we can see this is most evident in the grandiose dragon head adornment overlooking the inner chamber. Not shown in the video, but in the concept art, we see what's noted to be an ornate and finely stamped metal wing structure accompanying the dragon head. More evidence of dragon influence is seen in the outer area, where the concept art identifies the Daedrym dragon perch. The lore revealed here speaks to the cliffside as being mountain stone, rent long ago, torn asunder by a frightful dragon rage. It also reveals an element named Talon Blight that remains, and is still corrosive to the touch, yet bearing its baneful curse. Was the Daedrym Ascent the site of a battle during the Deicide War? We know that during the culmination of the Deicide War, there were great battles that raged and saw the dragons sow destruction without regard for friend or foe. Perhaps this is a remnant of such, as there is the sharp hot scent of dragon as beguiling incense, the visible and incandescent breath that pervades the height of the Daedrym Ascent. So is the Daedrym Ascent a place that dragons roosted, or is there more to the story? Looking a little closer suggests a place of dragon worship rather than residence. We see what appears to be an altar or a place of magical scrying. The overall design of the chamber appears almost ritualistic. The concept art noted the dragon head is an image of their patron dragon. The interior shows what appears to be a balcony from which one might address a gathered audience. Also note the chamber below and above the dragon's head. A room for the high priest, or perhaps the avatar of their patron? Now, who on Terminus would worship dragons? There is reference in the lore to a cult of dragon seekers, whose entire devotion is bent on finding and serving the absconded beasts, so they may one day share in the endless heavenly fortune. They're known as the Sect of Perith. By way of background, the Rainborn Dragons ruled Terminus prior to the arrival of the 9 races, but shortly before the first era of collisions, the Rainborn left their lands of sovereignty, or at least appeared to. In turn, all dragonkind similarly deferred their territories, roosts, and dwellings, down even to the common spawn. Yet, this cult persists even amongst the uncertainty that the dragons will ever return to Terminus, as ask when the alleged date will arrive, and the myth finds no shelter in things actually known. Another clue here may be the scale. As with much of Wild's End, scale is a dominant theme. The halfling shown gives us a height reference point at which to begin our understanding. In the chamber, we also see 6 braziers, which appear to be slightly taller than the halfling. The concept art refers to them as Daedrym braziers, and it also shows a human for further height reference against these braziers, and other exterior structures which are noted to be dragon-sculpted formations. The immense walls, doorways, and fixtures leads to a question of who would use such amenities if not dragons. We're also told extensively of the material composition of the Daedrym Ascent. Most of what we see inside the chamber has a metallic appearance, described in the lore revealed here as ancient polished stone of dense onyx enshrined in metallized silver and gunmetal leaf. Guarding this chamber are what are denoted as steel Wyvernian sentinels. There are many notations on the concept art of steel, titanium, and other metallic elements, all giving this place a feeling of unbreakable strength. Interestingly, in the February developer stream, the lore spoke of an unbreakable material in the Galdassi ruins of unknown origin, where piles of picks and axes lie abandoned due to the futility of their efforts to mine the substance. The concept art describes the material to be glossy with silvered highlights. As a brief aside, the previously shown materials video actually gives us our best look at something going from concept art to asset production to in-game asset, which is pretty incredible. But back to the lore, we have to ask ourselves, is there a connection to the mysterious material in the Galdassi ruins to that used in the construction of the Daedrym Ascent? Did the Galdassi have a hand in its construction, if not its use? Let's touch on the exterior of the Daedrym Ascent a little more. Note the stark contrast in the stone texture of the mountain versus the textures inside the temple. The dawn or dusk lighting giving the mountain a rough, rusty color. It almost hides the opulence of the interior, and that's likely intentional. This is accomplished with Pantheon's day-night cycle lighting, which was detailed in the March developer update. We know many areas of Terminus will be intentionally hidden and hard to discover, and we see this with the Daedrym Ascent as well. On the path ascending, only a sliver of the interior is visible upon approach. Pantheon will be rewarding to those that look for what cannot be seen, if you can even get this far. The revealed lore describes fiery impositions of lichen and coarse wire-like craggonweed, whose burnished copper outcroppings and foliage thrust upward into the stony tundra. In the concept art, we see the craggonweed, and notes indicate it may be both an enemy with its carnivorous bulb, but also a source of crafting materials with the harvestable resources only when it rains. Again, another side note here, this is a really nice addition to what we've learned recently about Pantheon's weather and how it affects gameplay, as we see the notation confirming weather-specific harvesting is planned. Back to the lore though, the concept art showcases the difficulty of reaching the Daedrym Ascent, but also notes there are strong updrafts adjacent to the climb. How can these assist in reaching the peaks, and what class might be able to utilize this? Examining the platform of the exterior, several details are also noteworthy. The platform appears to be looking east, or perhaps south. In recent streams, VR spoke of what lies to the east of Wild's End, as a frontier or a land of mystery. There was genuine excitement, and this may be a structure that gives rise to that. We get another view of this from below, and can see there exists a hallway or some sort of chamber within the platform itself. The windows align to the adornments. Can we ascend to the platform from below? The concept art identifies them as secret Daedrym chambers within, which we saw in the other video. What was your reaction to seeing the Daedrym Ascent? Who do you believe used this place and for what purpose? Let me know in the comments. If you want to see Pantheon get to launch, check out the pledge page, as this is largely a crowdfunded game being developed by a small, passionate team. And if you enjoyed this content, please check out our other videos here at Pantheon Plus that covers the lore, game development, and much more. Until next time, cheers, and thanks for watching.